It is actually a mental theory that has been tested about confidence prior to going in for an interview. That if you, you know, do like things of strength, like like this
Superman pose.
Superman poses, then if you when you actually get in there,
That was me.
yeah, okay. I was checking my stuff. I was like,
I
what?
admit it. It was me.
That you actually have more confidence in yourself when you go into it. And so I do it before every show.
I
Just for it.
do. I do my own ritual. Actually, that's what I got up when I muted prior to the show starting. I ran off to the side and I look like I'm about to enter an MMA ring because I'm literally like smacking myself in the head and I'm just like jumping up and down Brock Lesnar style. Like that's just what I
That's
do.
awesome.
I have to do that every show, every time I do it. Like I did
Man.
See, I'm
even
glad I'm not the only one that does that.
in,
That's awesome.
in high school. In
All
high
right.
school, we had a talent show, and right before I went on, I'm on the side of the stage, like doing that, and everyone's like, "Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you on drugs?" And I was like, "I'm just getting amped. Got to get fired up. I'm going to be in front of a bunch of people. Got to get going."
Everyone knows your secrets now.
Hey, I don't care. It's not a secret.
And
It's
no
awesome.
secret. It's no secret.
Ah, there we are.
We got
Well-
Macho Man in the chat today.
I know, Macho Man.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Step into a Slim Jim.
Man, Randy Savage. Yeah, brother.
I forgot to change. We got to update the episode number as normal
I told you.
and change the channel name because I forgot
Every
to do that
time. You need a
Every
checklist.
time.
And
You
who
need
said
a
something to him
pre-show
about
checklist.
5 o'clock tonight about that?
Hello there, everybody. And we know what Verlin's, he says in there that he's got a ritual before streams, and I believe it involves a deuce.
I just assumed that it involved a
Involves
ventriloquist dummy.
Deuce.
And a deuce.
And a deuce. All right, let's update the channel there. Okay, guys, we are pretty much live and all that kind of good stuff. So let's knock this out. Let's jump into this. I got to get it off of this screen. There we go. What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 45. Considering and mutating.
Mutating.
If you haven't been following
All
Twitter,
Terry's fault.
if you haven't been following, on Twitter, you don't know what the heck I'm talking about, but it's all good because
Organic Transformers.
we're gonna fill you in. Definitely welcome to episode 45 with co-host Murin and Katina.
Hello.
Say hello. Say hello.
Hi.
Hi.
And special guest 1106.
Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful day.
That's great. Okay, so basically Geo got lost in the ocean.
Is that why we're...
Swimming after a pirate ship.
That makes sense.
Okay.
At least that's my rendition of like why Geo isn't here right now. Anybody got anything better?
We don't
Levin's good at
so we can
stories.
spend time.
I
Yes.
just tend to think that those Guinnesses he was drinking in the morning caught up to him, and he's probably passed out on the beach looking like a lobster right about now.
Did you notice his face was sunburned this morning?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, see, Verlin's got it. Geo is on a raft somewhere in the Gulf of Mexico. That's another great one.
He's swimming to Cuba for some
Yep.
cigars.
Well, the wife had the kids, so he probably took off.
Probably.
Like I know this is completely imaginary, but I just picture Gio being the type of person who has like all the zinc on his nose, so that way he comes out, he'll be all like sunburnt except for his nose.
Atmosphere just punked you. You gonna let him get away with that?
Who got punked?
You.
You.
Why? I didn't.
OMG, you shaved Devlin?
Oh.
All right.
Shade my head apparently.
But it was Lousy that got me laughing. He says Geo saw an interesting build off in the distance and then tried to grapple. Tried to grapple.
That's
And then was
great.
found dead.
Great great excuses for Gio. But Gio's on vacation this week and next week, so you're gonna have to put up with this guy for the next 2 episodes. And the cool thing is, I keep evens. That is the greatest
Yes, but
thing out
tonight
of
you're
it.
odd.
But tonight we are odds.
No, you
Hey,
are odd.
Tenma,
Yes.
why don't you just go from 40 whatever to 40 whatever and skip odds each time? So that way when he comes
Well-
back, you're still, like, you've advanced extra episodes.
Well, see, the cool thing is with this episode right here,
Mhm.
we are tied with the workshop show.
Oh, so you want to. All right.
Okay. And so tonight's show is actually our tie with the workshop show. And of course, tomorrow they're going to be one up on us. Hey, oh, well, it happens.
Yeah, we went up on them in
Yep.
2 weeks.
So let me go ahead and kick off the latest news. I don't have Dyfed here to give me a goat sound or something. So. But basically, I sent Terry a message and asked him when was the next update was planned, and his response was this: should I alter it, or should I leave it
I
original?
promised that I'd make sure that you use the right words.
Okay. Aiming for next week, but still a little in considering more detail as soon as we... No, I messed it all up. I skipped a whole
Yes.
section, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Just a bit.
Try again.
Would you like me to read it for you?
Did I miss copying part of what he said?
Yes. I
Yeah.
have the actual tweet in front of me if you want.
I did. I
Screwed it up royally.
I screwed it up. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Murin. Save
He
me.
said, aiming for next week, but still a little in flux. More detail as soon as we can.
Okay, that works. That was the real one. Yeah, it was aiming. So it was considering.
Aiming and flux.
That's what it was. It was considering for next week, but still a little in mutating.
Yes.
That's what it was.
That's where
I
the
messed
mutating came
up.
from.
That's
But
what
when
it
it's a possible maybe for next week.
like. It's more like this, like that, right? It's like this.
Tenma and Terry. Kissing.
All right, but that was the feedback we got from Terry about when the next update is. Now we don't know exactly what's going to be in this update. We have speculations to this point, and based on all the stuff that has been said for like the last 2 weeks since the last hotfix, I kind of formulated a little list here that I'm gonna let Katina read off.
Ah.
That look on
She
your
said,
face.
read.
Yeah,
Read.
she's got to read. So I'm going to let her read this next little section. And these are all the things that have been said that they were working on, and they would try to get them to us, okay? I'm going to put the word try, but I'm saying get her done. Katina.
With his response, what we were hoping to see in this update is Hallis hanging lamp with horns, Hallis taxidermy. They posted hide, furs, and rack props, hanging fish rack, 2 textures, wood texture that blends with snow, and a leather texture with binding. Heard something mentioned about shields, but not sure.
I heard something about shields. Does anybody remember that?
I remember Alan mentioning that at some point.
Mhm.
It might have
He
been in
did.
his toast tweet.
I want
I
to.
don't remember for sure.
Yeah, I
It
want
said
to.
something.
I hope it's just not one shield. I want to see a bunch
Yeah,
of them.
a little variety
Right.
would be good.
I believe they had talked about at one point a round shield on like the very first workshop show where they were talking about the weaponry and such. So it may be a round shield instead of the heater shield that they have.
I would like to see, kind of like what, guys, who did that?
Infinity of Light?
Wasn't Infinity of Light?
No.
Gosh,
The shield Eliana was making?
no, hold on a second. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Taste buds.
Can't
Jadam,
see it.
Jadam, Jadam made a bunch of shields. I mean, a bunch of them. He had like like 15 of these different shields, and each one had something different or a different pattern. Like each one had its own crest. You know, like they had, you know, in England during the Middle Ages and stuff, they had their own crest on it. I thought that was pretty freaking awesome. I mean, like, I want all those. So, but what do you guys want to see in this next update when it comes to like props on top of what we just mentioned?
I actually want to see the toast that Ellen mentioned. I mean, I know it's super silly, but there's so many fun things we could do with that, and I know that he meant it as a joke. It was totally a joke in that tweet, but it would be fun.
Only
and so much we could do.
Only if they gave us a thing of country crock with it.
And if it scales really big, so we really can make a toast house.
Well, I know if you're talking butter, Verlin would like a churner. He would love to have out in his yard.
Yeah.
That's actually not a bad idea, because you could use that for quite a few things.
Plus, it's the shape of it you could use for things other than just being a butter churner. You know, you could shrink it down, put it in a modern home. It could be like a toilet scrubber, you know, kind of that thing with a handle sticking out of it.
The bottom of it, you know, like if you're looking at like a classical butter churner, it comes down at like an angle like this.
Yep.
You could take that and stick it inside of a pillar, and it would be like a flared in onto the bottom of a pillar.
Yep.
Shrink it down really tiny, embed it into something. You could have like a little prop rivet.
Yeah, I mean that would do, like, you could do so much stuff with that. I mean, it's a great idea.
So, Mr.
Praise
Rama,
the Amish.
Rama, however you say his name, Ducky Guy, wants a goat prop, and Beetle recommends that it comes with sound effects.
Apparently, we're in Tijuana right now. Holy cow! You're welcome, Tenma. You're welcome.
No. Tijuana is more like Tijuana's the donkey show, man. That's like totally off. Did you hear that?
That was Beetle.
It's Beetle. As he calmly walks out of the room.
His goal is always to get me.
I about spit Mountain Dew all over my desk.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen.
Uh,
First day,
woo.
I've achieved my goal. Boom.
There you go.
Well, I made some notations of like just random items that I would like to see, because we could use them in more than just one, you know, competition. We could use these like kind of across the board on everything. Beds, more tables. I mean, we got one table that actually looks a Holossian, and that's that one with the yellow in the center with the little designy thing on it. Housewares, forks, spoons, more pitchers and stuff like that.
And the boss says that time. Props.
Oh, that's great.
Thanks a lot,
Thank
Tenma.
you.
I know, right?
Gosh, ruining it for everybody.
Yeah, beds, tables, housewares, and other furniture. Those are the notes that I put down that, you know, as an addition, and have them in, you know, the Holossian style, because the way I kind of look at it, especially housewares. You know,
I agree with the housewares.
You know, the forks, the spoons, you know, more pitchers of different sizes. You know, like a pitcher up there on the table would be freaking awesome. We have one, but it looks too much like a dark elf pitcher.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think some items that they could probably want to use. First off, I'm tired of using the Halloween bubbling pot thing, so we need like a hanging empty pot and a hanging full pot with actual water and not green crap in it. Maybe like meat on a hook, like raw meat, like, you know,
What's up, guys?
what is it, a hump or whatever, a rump of like a cow or something. You know, those would be
Yes.
awesome
Or
cookware
ducks.
pieces, because you could use those for anything, you know, especially fantasy-based. They want to use stuff for workshop things. I mean, you get a raw metal type pot, like a cast iron. You could use that for Dwarven. You can use it for the Halazian. It can go into Karen. It can go into virtually anything as far that's going to boil a pot. Meat hooks, those can go to any carnivorous race. I mean, those are awesome things that you could do.
I have a simple addition to what we have right now. and that is a ring with a hook on it. That's it. That's the whole prop. You take that in conjunction with the chain
And do you have a meat hook?
or the rope, and all of a sudden you have something that you can just freely have up there. That's another great little addition.
They just need the meat to go on that hook.
And chickens and ducks hanging upside down would be great. You know,
Well,
for like
Bunnies hanging upside down.
And just
Yeah.
for a gag, they could do like the yellow rubber chicken version, you know, so that way it could be like kind of comedic as well.
yeah. I mean,
That
a
just be
rubber
a
chicken
reskin.
would be awesome. A rubber chicken would be awesome.
There are a few ideas in chat. One person said weapon racks. I saw faucets, knobs, handles, pipes without lights. Pipes without lights would be awesome because it would allow us to do
those
plumbing
blue
and
glowing lights would be amazing.
It also has been mentioned on somewhere else, and I'm going to bring this up, and that is those blue lights in various colors.
Yep.
yes.
It can't be that hard to change the color.
So
I think-
I will toss that out there.
For the weapon rack idea, I think something that would be better than a standalone weapon rack, because we can make a rack in props, but what we need is like, how about all the armor sets that we have and the weapons that we have that we can, you know, actually place as props? We have the models for them already, so it's not like it's creating something from 100% scratch. I mean, yes, the system to put it in there may not be in it yet, but that's something I would love to see, because then we could immediately go from no equipment except for a chintzy sword and axe to having some full-on stuff. I think that would be awesome.
That would be that's actually not a bad idea. I mean, like you said, we already have the models. It's just actually taking them out, putting them on the ground. We can lay them how we want to. Set up an armor shop. That's great stuff right there.
And then
Go ahead.
sorry, I was gonna say, you mentioned bedding before. I think particularly for the Halazian stuff, maybe like hay with a blanket on it, something that you could do for like something on the ground for like poor people in Halas instead of these big fancy buildings. Something more rustic in terms of like a bed frame, so we don't have these giant 4-post beds all in the Halazian stuff. Because I mean, if they're not going to go fancy with their house, why are they going to have like a 4-post bed with a drapery on it? It just seems kind of silly.
Exactly.
You know.
Hammerman has said something else that would be awesome. Actual smithy props.
Yeah.
In other words,
Yes.
tongs, a set of tongs. Because as it stands right now, we have to use the one that goes with the fire pit.
Yeah.
That's totally different, right? A
kinda
blacksmithing
fancy.
hammer. A blacksmithing hammer, or one that could be
Multi-purpose.
multi-purpose hammer. Let's see. Heck, I'm trying to think of all the different stuff. And an actual anvil.
Just Talurker said on there bars of metal. I do have to say you can make bars out of voxels. They're rather simple, so I think that would be. I mean, yeah, it's something in the future, but I don't think that's something we'd want to worry about now, perhaps. But I would, and Metallical said way up above, actually, to turn on the old crafting stations. That would be extremely useful. Like, for instance, I'm working on a dungeon build that would need furnaces in 4 corners. Having the old Stoneforge be able to be linked and triggered to turn on to add effects would be phenomenal. And they already have all of that in the game. It's just activate it.
Yeah,
Really,
that'd be amazing.
like, that would be great, because even the stone forge, like that thing, it looks like it could even be plopped in with, just add a little extra decoration, and you have various styles. It would fit Halas if you were looking for like the lower incomes side of the Halazian stuff, because it is stone. It's not like a tech forge.
All of the gathering tools would be awesome as props as well.
Yes.
All of them.
Now, I'm kind of stepping back in time a moment here. But in the beginning, there was no such thing as sci-fi props. At all. If you can step back that far enough. And people cried and moaned and complained and all that kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden, they broke down and said, okay, we're going to give you a sci-fi prop. Does anybody remember what the first one was?
The forge.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Tech Forge.
The Tech Forge was the first one they ever gave us. beautiful, and the amount of stuff that people use that for was just nuts.
It was
They're
amazing.
still using it today. I mean, it's in various builds. I know, like the Block Wars build Metallical's working on, that's in there as well, like his parts. I mean, that's
Yeah.
people want that stuff. You know, it's so like obviously that has nothing to do with the workshop, but that's just awesome stuff people would love to use. You know,
And see, I think right now we need some more emitters. I'd love to have clumping snow just following random.
I'd like to have more door types.
You know, like so we could put it on the edges of buildings, and it looks like snow's kind of falling off the edges of your Halas building. That'd be perfect right now. So
now. Now, since you mentioned emitters, I don't want to like totally go on a tangent, but there's one thing I would love for emitters to be. I would love for emitters to be a one size only shape. That little triangle piece that pops up, that doesn't need to scale. All we need to worry about scaling is the actual effect, and then that should be linked to turn on and off when you show areas. Because that way you can turn it off and someone who comes to your build won't see them and they could be in the middle of somewhere. That way you don't have to worry about hiding them still in walls. You don't have to worry about giant gray triangles when you need to enlarge something, you know, because those actually have collisions, some of them, and you get stuck on them. They're annoying, like particularly in waterfalls. So, I mean, that I think is something that should really be looked into. And I know it's a little bit of a tangent off of what we're talking about, but I think it would make all of your prop woes and stuff that we have right now get better.
well, the emitters came about from a conversation between me and Jeff Butler. If you, awesome guy, and it was something that I asked him about, and he said he'd see what he could do, and it was like all of a sudden I got a Christmas gift. You know, that's kind of how it turned out, because we got it like right there at that patch during Christmas or during December at least. And oh my gosh, the stuff that people made from that was just insane. And he was able to do it fairly quickly. But we haven't really seen any updates or inclusion of other emitters since then, really. I mean, we're still missing a lightning emitter. That would go really far for a lot of people. You know,
Yeah.
you know, little stuff like that. I mean, I'm pretty sure you could think of a million of them. And a smaller water fountain,
Yeah.
or you know,
Like
the waterfall.
Waterfall,
Yeah.
but smaller. Yeah.
Yeah.
And something that was actually naturally small, so that way it wasn't like with the waterfall, when you shrink it, it lowers the LOD. So if you get too far away, it just disappears anyways. But you need something that's going to be at a natural small size. That way it doesn't disappear immediately. Plus, it doesn't go that small even when you do shrink it. So
That is something I would really like to bring up right quick. If I'm standing on my claim and I scroll totally out as far as I can to try to get a picture of everything, all my emitters totally disappear. Smoke, fog, you know, the waterfall, I mean, all the little stuff, and it all disappears. Even though when I scroll in, you know, they're there, but I scroll totally out and it disappears. My character hasn't moved. It should still have that in its rendering, right?
You would think so, because that's the way they do it with the voxel LOD. It'd be nice
Yeah.
if the emitter LOD worked in the same way,
And
at
some of
least
the
on the same
props,
principle.
it's
like a
really, really hard to get a good picture of what it is you're trying to take a picture of. Because of that reason. I have to scroll in every time, and I can't get the total picture that I wanted.
Yeah.
Metallical made a good point that it'd be nice if we could hide lights as well.
yes.
So if I had a spotlight that I wanted to use for lighting, but I didn't want to use the canned thing as the source for it,
the dunce
be able to
cap,
hide that. Yeah,
yeah.
should be nice.
Make them hidden, just like areas. That's an easy way. Anything that is invisible, if it's show areas or hide areas, you know.
I think when it comes down to
Simple.
the emitters, if it was a mouse over for the builder, just like a door is. I mean, I mouse over a door, it highlights for me. I know where that emitter is. It's easy for me to find it. I can right click it, you know? and get away from having the little triangle thing. Don't even have it. There's, as long as I can see it and I can mouse over it, I'm good.
The only issue without having the triangle thing is you would have to figure out what the hitbox of the actual selection area would be for that particular prop, and then you run into the same problem with scaling. That is, you're scaling the hitbox as well, which means now if you as a builder are running through your claim, anytime your mouse cruises over that, you're getting the giant light. You have a risk of turning it off. Stick it, and I don't want to beat the dead horse here, but put them all tied to visibility with the areas. Uncheck that box and it's no longer visible. Check it up while you're editing, boom, it's visible, and then you get to see it all. Light cones, all that stuff. Anything that's an interactive emitter would be perfect.
Now this is actually an interesting idea here. They were not too long ago talking about having a builder mode versus combat mode and all that kind of stuff, right? Or free roaming mode, or whatever you would like to call it. If you actually had to click a button for builder mode and have like these little triangles actually appear when you go into builder mode, but when you come out of it, they disappear.
I am absolutely against builder mode. I don't know if you saw the face I made.
Go right ahead. Tell me why.
If you're in builder mode, first off, it sounds like there's some reason to separate yourself in build mode from people who are in not build mode. But as there's no monsters on top or anything like that, there's no reason to do so. You're going to be creating a whole separate system that people can enter into for no real apparent reason, because once you're in build mode, it's quote unquote build mode, it's really there to take away, if you look at other games, it takes away the survival aspect, the damage, the trouble, the pain, all that. But there really isn't any of that in Landmark, particularly since there's nothing on the surface other than a couple of mushrooms, which generally don't spawn inside your claim except through special circumstances where you tame them as a little pet. But outside that, there's really no reason to really put the to put the time and energy into that. I mean, because there's no hazard.
I've got an idea, and it boils down to kind of like this. Monsters are underground now. They're not on the surface. They haven't given me bunnies to bash in their brains yet. So, if there is basically nothing on the surface besides me falling on my ass to kill me, why should I even die in the first place?
Because it's amusing.
Now, I can understand me going down into the cave and diving, or dying down there, but on the surface it just doesn't make any sense anymore. I have nothing to fight anymore on the surface.
Eventually, once build tools get all the dungeoneering tools and stuff, theoretically, hypothetical here because we don't know how it's actually going to work, but in theory, we can put mobs on our claims. We can create combat scenarios. So not being able to die on the surface would then make that pointless, unless you want to have everything flagged PvP style and turn it on, turn it off, which then really kind of hurts some of the natural flow of exploring on the top.
I don't know. They've already kind of killed that anyway, in my opinion. Until
Unlimited,
I have the feeling there's going to be another wipe.
Yes,
because
eventually, not soon.
But it's not going to hurt us. It ain't going to hurt us like it used to. Nowadays, it's like, oh well, I just put it down again. Which is awesome because it saves a template of everything. But I would really like to know how they want to go to the next phase, or what the actual far-leading future, what they would like the game to become. A clear and present danger, I guess you could call it. I should just name this episode "Clear and Present Danger," because we don't have a blueprint anymore, and so we don't really know where they want things to go. And it kind of removing the blueprint really scared me for the most part, because once they say, well, we're taking down the blueprint, that it's something psychological to that. It made me think that, hey, they pretty much said we ain't doing nothing else ever. We don't even have a plan. And
I didn't
that's
get
what
that.
scared me.
I didn't get that.
I didn't get that at
They
all.
do have a plan, but it's big chunks that we wouldn't be seeing for quite a while.
I would
That
still like
don't
it.
impact Landmark for quite a while, and will be in flux enough, because that's the way that big projects work, that even if they told us that potentially in November we might be getting something big, it might change in the future. There's a good chance it would change in the future, and then we'd be pissed off about it changing.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I'd be
have a
pissed off
double-edged
then.
sword.
I'd be pissed off. Oh, well.
It's a double-edged sword, because if they give us the information, then everyone's expecting it, and the moment something changes, we all get mad. But then they don't give us the information because they don't want us to get mad. But then we get mad we didn't get the information. Really, there's no right way to go about this other than to be in consistent communication, whether it be something on the forums. And I know, Pentapod's done as good as she could possibly can with the information she can give us, keeping up, This Week in Landmark and
Absolutely.
that stuff. But it would be nice to have a little more, like saying, hey, we're making progress on this system. Hey, we're doing on this because we want to, obviously we know this may be something that you're not going to get right away, but just, we are still working on it. That kind of communication would be nice, but we have to understand people are going to be pissed no matter what they do. So they
I've accepted that.
Yeah, well,
I've accepted that. But I'm not going anywhere, I could get the maddest that you have ever seen, but it really takes a lot for me to just say, I'm done. And I haven't reached that point yet.
I said that like 8 times already today, but that was about my work, not Landmark.
Yeah,
I was like,
mean,
done.
I really don't know why people have gotten so mad for the first place. I mean, I like having information. I like knowing what to expect in the future, at least a glimpse of what they really would like to see the game turn into.
For me, it's not about knowing what they're working on. I like to have that little bit on a hook to keep me going, because if you sit there in the dark and you don't know, it's kind of like being put into solitary confinement. You're stuck to your own thoughts. You're constantly thinking 1,800 different variations of what's going on, and then you've got your own expectations you've created in your own mind, and you just go nuts. Meanwhile,
I'm already
if they just
there.
give you- yeah, well, we're both nuts to begin with. We know that. But if you get that little hook on the fish hook, so it keeps you going in the direction they want you to go. And sorry to totally blocked my camera there, but you keep following the fish hook and the little crumb on the end of the fish hook, and you'll get to the hook, you'll get a bite, you'll get caught, you'll be hooked, you'll be done, they'll cook you. But you know where you're headed. You're not in this giant abyss of darkness with nothing going on except for your own machinations, which just is a bad formula, because we've seen already what happens when everybody speculates like crazy. It gets insane. Sorry, I went intellectual. My bad.
No. We love that kind of stuff up here. So, but with that being said, I almost, there's a part of me that would like to say maybe we should go back in time just a little bit. Bring back the ability to upgrade our weapons or our tools to have more customizations. Bring back some kind of the crafting system for the most part. Right now it's like here's everything. Here is everything. Go build to your heart's content. Whatever. I liked having to go out and get the stuff I needed to make something. It got me off of my claim so I could refresh my brain and go, oh crap, that's an awesome idea, and go back after I get my crap, go back and build it.
You mentioned crafting and all that, and I think that's critical for the gameplay loop, because right now there is no loop. I know we say we close the loop, but without anything for people who aren't going to be in building to do, there is no gameplay loop. crafting is an element of that gameplay loop that I think needs to come back.
That I totally agree with that. Anybody else disagree? Agree?
I'm on the fence. When I really feel like building, I don't want to have to go out and harvest and stuff. And I know the harvesting changes really frustrated a lot of people. Sorry, got to get rid of the cat. But going out to harvest when I don't have fully upgraded tools annoyed the hell out of me. And having to spend hours and hours and hours to upgrade all my tools, something I would never do. So before that change, when the tool upgrading could be done by someone else, that was great because Beetle would upgrade my tools and I'd get upgraded tools and I could go out and gather.
Yeah.
So if they changed back in a few ways, then I'd be all for it. I mean, because it really adds a lot to the game for the people who want to support the builders but don't want to build themselves.
And the way I look at it is like this. They killed revenue when they did that.
That is true. Well, nobody needs to waste their time getting materials to upgrade. So now the whole purchasing of resources, you chop your legs off right at the ankles because that's one source. Like when Ruby was the big item to upgrade your stuff, I was like, forget that. I paid money right out. I was like, boom, money. I'm too freaking lazy for that. So I put the money out there. But now you don't need it. And yes, the ether shards was a little excessive. Yes, they needed to tweak the materials. There's a fine line between no crafting, no requirement for time, and just going too crazy and making it a grind. I think it would be better to find a nice tweak in the middle instead of, getting rid of one or going all in on the other. There is room to play in there that I don't think we explored.
I would really love to see some of those past things that we had come back. Now, it's going to piss off a lot of people. People going to get mad. You had free mats. We had free mats, and all of a sudden I can't do that anymore. I'm gonna have to dig again. Boo freaking who? It was a convenience thing. That's all it really was. But the thing is, some of the biggest moneymakers that they probably had when it came down to the microtransactions was that. Buying dirt, buying sand.
I agree that certain common materials could remain free, like dirt and stone, because primarily those are ones you're going to get in abundance no matter what, so it's kind of pointless. But, the beauty of having resources purchasable is you bring in an element that is actually successful and positive in a game that's free to play. It's not pay to win, it's pay to save time. And I think that's a useful way to look at it. And, we heard Dave say that before back when he was around. And I think the resources being purchasable does that. But if you remove the purpose of having resources, or at least having resources in excess, you kind of, sure, people are still going to buy it now. I buy resources, last week I bought some. But I'm sure the number of people buying them has gone down.
There's no resource sink anymore. Is really the problem. When you upgraded weapons, it consumed weapons or armor. It consumed a lot of resources, and if you didn't get something good, it was garbage. You didn't get anything back for it, or you did with the disenchanting thing or whatever it was called, but you didn't get resources back for it. You didn't get your 1,000 mithril back because you broke it down. So you had to go get more mithril to make a new one to get to the good one. You had to blow it up 100 times to get the best one.
And I enjoyed that.
I did.
There's less of a chance of selling things.
Yeah.
For the overall gameplay loop, they're going to need to bring that stuff back. And maybe not exactly as the way it was, but they're going to have to.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would be willing to change my opinion if somebody presented a solid idea in front of me that said, hey, this is for people who aren't going to be just builders. And I would be more than willing to do that. But as of yet, there's hints of a bright light, but nobody has flat said, yeah, this is a great idea to give all that stuff away. Because, look at the population of builders versus non-builders. The non-builders aren't here playing because there's nothing at this point for them to really sink their teeth into, and I don't know. It's kind of hard to say it without sounding totally mean, but it is what it is because of what it is.
I can't wait. I really can't. I would love to see a lot of that stuff come back. I mean, we've got all those workshops that we had, and there was a hierarchy. You had to make this one before you can make that one, and then you had to farm up all the materials to make this one, and eventually you had like the best of the best stuff. You worked hard to get all that stuff.
Exactly. You had to work for it.
You had to work for it. So, and once you had them, you didn't have to worry about them anymore until they wiped. It did a major wipe.
But you felt a sense of accomplishment.
Yeah, the same thing with the pickaxes. I like that hierarchy from working from the weakest thing all the way down to that mithril pickaxe.
Now, Metallical said in there, to counter Murin's point, there is a huge resource sink, which is building. They say the problem is with the workshop stuff, people tear it down and they get all the materials back. Mm-hmm. If you can get the materials back, it's not a sink. That's a part of the problem, is that you can get them back. Yes, if people leave the builds up, then the materials are gone. If they're constantly refining it and making it better, yes, those materials are essentially gone, but they're never permanently gone. I had like a gajillion pounds of marble I put into my Blockco PvP arena, and the moment I took up those 9 claims, I had it all back. I mean, my sink was giving it to Cyrus so she could build her statue, walls and everything, and other people, but in the game, it's not actually gone because somebody's using it for building, and a sink requires it to be gone for good.
It does.
Now, the one thing I do miss is my legendary pickaxe that I had. Because that thing I got right now...
Whose is bigger?
Sucks!
Yeah, mine's
compared to
terrible.
my
I haven't
legendary.
upgraded it at all yet.
It ain't worth it.
I know!
I just went to the top tier one and just crafted a bunch of them and said, okay, I got the best one that, actually I got the second to best one. I didn't bother stopping because I was like, okay, I got what I want. I'm cool. But
mine was like Sexy Beast. It had speed and size. I mean, it's like seriously.
New quote.
Right now I'm sitting there saying, refrain from doing quote number
800.
But it's
it had speed and size.
It has speed and size. I could go tick, 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 and pull
but
out
it
a
did
big
have
hole
stamina.
that I could walk through it. And
But it have stamina.
it was awesome. And I missed that legendary pickaxe. When it went poof, I was like, no, and yeah. Okay, let's move on to our next little segment because we're getting like way out there right now. Sorry, guys.
quote 32, Tim.
I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it.
You just said it.
All right, so the next little thing, cause we went from like stuff we'd like to see in the next patch to a lot of stuff in between, and I don't know how the heck we got there.
Flame 11.
And so next they heard our cries and actually posted the official list of Takish winners this past week. Thank you.
Yes.
Prior to this, the players were directed to re-watch the workshop show in its entirety to get the list, but it was missing a few builds, so you have to watch both episodes 44 and 45 to get the full list. Nutty, right?
But the list is still missing at least one thing.
What's that?
My tower.
Ooh.
Your tower's not on the list?
It has the pavilion on the list, but not the tower.
Uh-oh.
And I had a conversation with RadarX on Twitter about it yesterday. He said he was going to have to ask people some questions to make sure it's supposed to be there.
All right. Well, let's see.
Now I
Please, Nas.
understand.
Copy. Okay, that's bullcrap. Hold up. I got it in here
Oh,
somewhere.
I'm sure he just needs to have it clarified and it'll be fixed. But to me, it feels like not having a winner on the list because I didn't build the pavilion. Someone else built that. So I don't have a winner right now.
Oh.
All right. I'm trying to find that link. Give me 1 second, and it's going to take me to where I need to be.
Ducky says my
There we
power's
go.
been revoked.
Okay, here's that link I was talking about, guys. Sorry for the delay. That is the full list of the competition winners, honorable mentions. So definitely great job to all the winners, except for Murin because hers ain't listed. But I'm sure I'm sure it'll take us 2 days for Radar X to do it. It's okay.
It's okay.
He's really slow. We have to give him. Got to give him 2 days to fix it.
I'm good. I have my winner templates, so I'm happy.
Well,
I'll have a trophy, so I'm happy.
Okay, and Pentapod, Emily, I know she's in the channel right now. Radar X is really slow about getting our pictures from the workshop show up. Slap him on the back of the head for me.
And he didn't post
just
all
to
the
clarify,
original artwork either. He's missing
He's
two
so
pictures.
slow about it that Ginson went out and created a thread himself because he wanted us to have them.
That's because I asked him to.
Thank you for that.
Because I wanted those pictures. I was like, he couldn't release them all, but he did get me the ones that were finished.
How do you spell that sound you just made?
Which one? But I'm serious though. I mean, it's like the workshop show. I'm ready to look at the images. I'm ready to freaking dive in. I'm ready to get things freaking built. And I've got to wait 2 days to get the images or scroll back through the workshop show and try to take a screen cap that's got heads on both sides.
It wasn't it Josh that put out a tweet with a link to the pictures for us in the meantime?
No, that was Ginson.
No, that was like way before then. That was the time before that Josh did that. And then Ginson released 2 of the images onto the forums. Oh no, he did it on his tweet for 2 of the images prior, but there was 2 other ones from the workshop show that were missing, and he posted them on the forums for us.
Yeah,
There we go. It was something like that. All right, carrying on. This will be close to. We still got a good 12 minutes left of the show, so I want to go into the next part and try to cover all the stuff I got on the list over here, guys. The next big news was the Ogre Foundation Museum was snuck in early this week.
I was so excited about that because I wasn't playing much in November and December. I was crazy busy, so I wasn't playing enough that I lost my claims in December. I was working on this big dwarf build, and I lost it. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't see much of the ogre builds. I watched the workshop show like maybe 3 or 4 times in that time period. I saw some of the posts on Twitter. I saw some of what you were building on stream, Tenma. But running through the island last night was my first time seeing most of those builds, and it was so impressive.
There was
stunning.
There was some builds in there I don't remember.
Wow.
And I was like, wow. Ansgar.
Yeah.
That was amazing. Amazing.
I never saw that in person until then. I saw pictures, and I was like, man, that's a cool picture, And then I got there and actually saw the build, and when you walk up into it and you look up at that ceiling up in the center, and it's got those bulls running around, I was like, oh my gosh, beautiful.
I believe it's the Oryx. That's what they're called?
Orax.
Yeah.
Orax or something like that. There was Ashland's build. That thing was massive. Did anybody see that one? It's on the north side, I think.
Don't think I saw Ashland's.
It's like a huge coliseum. It's not much from the outside, but when you go on the interior and you look at it, you're like, holy crap.
Yep.
It was awesome. I loved it. Then there was so many builds in there that I can't even tell you how many. Knobwinkles was misnamed.
Yes, they said they fixed that.
The one that's a dock. It's like a dock, and it's got like a little things
Yeah, it
for
was-
the docky stuff. That was Knobwinkle's build.
I
but it
missed
was
that one too.
It was named something else for some reason, or credit
It was
was given
credited to
somebody
someone else.
Yeah,
else.
it's one of them copy paste errors, probably.
Yeah.
Emily's human. She's allowed to make mistakes once in a while.
Yeah, well,
Once.
I'm just going to point it out and all that kind of good stuff. But that is if Knobwinkle didn't already contact about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he did.
he
It's
Yeah,
been
it was on
fixed.
Twitter. Yep,
Okay.
all spread.
But I know 11. You did a tour of it on your show.
Yeah, Ogre is pretty much the only one that actually got me building anything for it. I loved the style. I thought it was awesome. But the island in general is awesome. But one thing I do want to give a little shout out, actually, the Ogre City, the Blockheads one, was placed into the ground a little awkwardly. And unbeknownst to me, Pentapod went in there today and lifted the whole thing up and re-put it down without even being asked. She just happened to be watching my stream yesterday and going, "Oh, okay, I'll see what I could do." And she messaged me through
That's
Twitter, and I
awesome.
was just like, "What? Sweet, thank you." I was like, "That's why you're our favorite because
Yeah,
you're-
exactly.
like holy
Exactly.
cow! Like I haven't even got a chance to see what it looks like now, but just the fact that she put that effort out there to go do that without even being asked is just freaking insane. I love that. It's like that's
I will
to
love it.
me, that's a great community and great communication, and relationship from dev to player. It was just awesome.
That's awesome.
So just saying,
I
just
totally
saying.
have to interrupt and go back to the emitter discussion real quick
Okay.
Uh-oh.
to read you guys something I just read on Twitter.
Okay.
So Verlin's shop got hit by lightning tonight. He's sitting outside the shop watching us on his phone while he's waiting for the electrician to come along and get it fixed. Someone asked if he pissed off God, and Emily said, "God heard you asking for lightning emitters."
Oh,
And that it's all your fault.
Yes. Yes.
he
That's
was
awesome.
asking about those on his stream once. So I think it was yesterday, maybe. I don't know. At one point, he was in chat
Well,
asking about it. So
we've been asking for that for
Yep.
a long time. I tell you, I'm hoping this next update has got a lot of other goodies we don't know about. I'm gonna tell you that. I got a feeling. I think they're planning it. They're gonna be like, smack it. Y'all didn't think we were working on it, did you?
that's what you get.
Yeah, I swear to God, I got the feeling that's what's going to happen. I'm really hoping that happens. Okay, we only got a few minutes left, so let's go into the next part of the conversation here. Build off. What's the rules? Tell us about build off.
All right, build off. I'm currently getting over. We're looking like it's going to start on Friday during Landmark tonight, and then continue over the weekend until Monday of the following week. 3 competitors. I've got 2 have confirmed. The third one has not replied back, but said they were willing to commit. Basically, it's like the show Face Off, except building builds instead of making costumes. The rules are kind of simple. It's like this: build in any way you can, as fast as you can, whatever you want, as long as it fits the theme. You can have assistants, you can use templates, you can do whatever. You just have to fit the theme. Reason being is obviously I'm not going to follow people around for 4 days and be like, oh no, you can't do that. So instead of trying to restrict, I'm just going to embrace it, let people do whatever, and all they have to do is meet the thematic requirements. I kind of want to let the one out right now because it's a perfect place, plenty of people. But the first episode's going to be a dollhouse competition. Obviously they had the TV show Dollhouse where it was an empty shell of a human being, and Joss Whedon basically said we're going to erase these people down and fill them with personality. So I've given all 3 competitors their own dollhouse, and they get to do whatever they want to decorate it as long as the outside shell stays the same. They can build on their own claim. They can have someone to send them a template. They can use swap pieces. Obviously, the only thing they can't do currently is use stuff from Player Studio because it's not their claim. But starting Friday during the Landmark Tonight show, I'm going to open up the permissions for them to go and do that. And on Monday when I check it out, whatever is on that claim will be judged accordingly, and we'll let some people go do a little poll in chat on Twitch and stuff. But the ultimate pick is going to be done by me, only because internet things get gamed. So it's the first one's going to be about, telling a story within the build using the details of actually setting stuff up. This could be props, it could be voxels, whatever. But it's about telling a story and creating playable rooms in this dollhouse.
Okay, question. How big
Sure.
of a work area are we talking about?
I have an entire claim each competitor, except for 25 voxels on the base. And there is a little thing that they can build outside of it, but it's the entire width of a claim, doesn't matter. For the dollhouse competition, I've actually made a frame of a dollhouse that is approximately 98 or 100 voxels tall that they could fill. It's 2 main floors plus a ceiling area that they can do like in an attic if they want. And the dollhouse is 70 floor space voxels deep, so that way it fits play space requirements once they add the walls. But in general, each person gets a claim. So, and then if they want to build stuff in their own claim, they can do so.
Okay.
And then bring it over, of course.
Looks like okay, there you go. Okay, your camera's
Yeah.
back. Okay. Your camera went.
It was me. I did that. Yeah. If anyone wants to enter in the future, I see Towlurker says I would have entered. There is a thread in the forums for people to leave notes there. I'll get back to them in game there as long as you leave your player name, or you can message 11 in game, and we'll be able to set that up. I'm gonna have 3 separate competitors each week, so it's not like a long-standing seasonal show.
Okay, what kind of skill level are we looking for on this? I mean, that right there is the killer for most things, because people don't think they're good enough.
Well, I know most people are better than they think, first off. Except for you, Tenma, you're not as good as you think. Boom!
Exactly.
I'm
Exactly.
Basically, skill level, if you feel you're comfortable being a beginner, intermediate, or expert, put that in the message you send me, so that way I could try to pair people up. As long as they let me know in advance their skill levels, I could try to pair it up to make it more competitive. Like, for instance, if Spider Oz plays, I don't want him going against my buddy Live for Happiness, who's been playing for a week. That would be a little unfair. So if you let me know your skill level, I'll be able to try and pair it up a little better. But quite frankly, I think with the thematic things, like for instance the dollhouse one, to decorate with props and other things, you don't have to be a voxelmancer, quote unquote voxelmancer, to go crazy with it. It's the theme that's going to sell it more, the little details in each room, like if you want a murder basement or something, so that tells the story versus, whether you can make a pretty voxel that's, 1/8 of a 16th or something. I don't know the math on that.
Spider is disappointed that you would not pit him against Live for Happiness.
Yep.
Oh,
Whatever coffee says.
My bad. I know Spider's like, oh, I want to get a guaranteed win, but each theme is going to really control it. Like for instance, one of the themes was black and white, where you can only build using black or white materials, whether it's plastic, marble, that kind of thing. So there's all different things that we've worked up. I've got some in the chute already ready to go, but I kind of thought the dollhouse one was kind of neat because I could talk about a TV show at the same time, and so now everybody's got an advanced setup, but nobody's going to actually see what they look like yet until Friday.
Everything it should all be cubed off. If only you could if we had the ability to set passwords on a teleporter, that would be awesome.
It is cubed off inside, and it's double layers, so you can't even use the weapon trick to look through the walls. So
yeah, and see,
I'm sneaky like that.
That would be awesome if you could actually set a password on a teleporter. So you step on the teleporter, if you don't know the correct password, you can't advance forward into that room.
That would be
That'd be
awesome.
cool.
Would it not? You could set up games perfect like 11's doing right now. Nobody except the builder gets to see it.
Well, if they have their own claims, whoever owns it, you just
unless you teleport it to the person.
For this, because it's a competition in like a game show format, I want everyone to see it. Once it starts, I want everyone to see it. So they will be open claims. They're literally side by side, and you can teleport through the gallery to the actual claims, sit in the stands, and watch what people are doing over the course of the weekend if you want. But the whole point is you want to see the process. So I will be, like in this particular case, visibility is better.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, that way Geo won't go, I need to walk through walls. He'll just be able to see it.
I want to be able to fly across the world. What was that? What was that Lousy said on the, and it was in the video? He wanted to communicate with us or parlay with us or some crap like that. I want to drill to the center of the earth or something. And then he tosses a freaking horse over the edge. It was funny. If you haven't seen that video, you have got to watch that. It's hysterical. Anybody got that link? Come on, Katina, you got that link somewhere.
I do not.
What?
Cold.
Hold up, I've got it.
While you're looking
got
for
it.
that, Metallical says linking and triggering should be able to see what player is clicking on something. Then you can make it do something only if Tenma uses the switch. You know, that would be tied to explosives
That would be cool.
or flingers.
That would be cool. You
So
can
wait,
booby
only
trap people
explode
like
Tenma?
that.
Subscription.
If
Yeah.
Tenma enters here,
Yeah.
Exactly.
You can
okay,
have
now
like
I
how
like
about-
that idea now.
How about multiple passwords? So you give out a password to Katina, she walks through and Dynamite kills her. You give it over to Murin, she walks through and falls through a hole. You give it to 11, and you know all of a sudden everything just collapses in on him.
Implodes.
Yeah, you could
That
like
makes sense.
You get
Makes
the
sense.
Tenma and all the above
multiple
happen.
tricks.
Sheep come out, goats come out,
Yeah.
lubricant pours from the sky.
So, what is the best way to contact you about the about Build Off?
The best way is in game. A character name is 11 or Flurp, FLERP. Those are the two easy ways, but 11 is a simple name to remember. You can just do that and leave a message, and I will be able to pair people off the best I see fit. Big advantage, though, is if you do want to play, try to sign up early because I want to get everything set up in advance based on skill level, or some people have time constraints. The earlier, the better.
Okay, awesome. All right, well, that pretty much ends the show. So let's go around the block like we always do. Katina, what are you doing this week?
Try not to laugh at Murin putting that quote in.
Add quote. 1106. Sheep come out, goats come out, lubricant falls from the sky. Awesome.
I have torn down my Palace build. I am going to restart it.
Again.
I talked to you earlier. I just need to get that picture. Yes, again. Well, when you guys were touring and I found the exact same one I was doing 6 times, it's got to go.
She wants my picture of the Hallis build I did on the show today.
Yes, I
See
do.
if I can show this here.
It's mine.
Oh, it's
it's
cute.
small. It's cute.
It's my cute little building.
I like
It's
it.
mine.
I'm
Mine,
so
mine.
sorry I missed your doodles.
And I did this one.
I saw part of that. Wow.
And these cracks in the skull.
It reminds me of the aliens from Mars Attacks.
And then there was this one.
I like that one.
Don't show Kylan.
Kill it! Kill it!
But yeah, these are my speed draws. I just did them on the show today. We spent what, a good like 30 minutes or something like that on them. I just spit some stuff out. Okay, Murin, what are you doing this week?
Fiddling with Halas stuff. I might actually start building something in the next day or so. On Sunday, Verlin and I are doing a dual stream. We're starting at 9 o'clock Pacific, noon Eastern. We will be building a Halas build from the ground up. Don't know how long it's going to take us, a few hours or something. That's our goal. We have pieces that I've made, pieces that he's made. We've grabbed stuff from Ginsan's Swap and some other places. If anyone has Halas building pieces that they want to donate to us, drop them by my claim. I have a drop-off area there. My only stipulation is if you are... Thank you, Katina. If you are dropping stuff off for us to use for this, I am going to share with other people. So don't drop it off in my drop-off claim if you don't want it to be out there in the world.
Oh, hold up.
What?
I got you. I
man.
got you. Yes,
Hey, man,
I
that's
had,
what she said.
I got you. Hold up.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, what did I do?
And Murin.
You set yourself
I saw it,
up.
that's why I started laughing.
Payback is a B,
Let's see.
and I'm just
How's
a B.
Hold up. Let's see. Quote.
Ferd, I
34.
think we're good for materials, but let me take. Actually, I take it back. I'm almost out of iron. So if you wanted to leave me an iron present, I would love it. Otherwise, I think we're pretty set because Katavari has been giving me tons of wood.
Okay, here it goes. You ready?
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Here it goes.
Oh God, I know. I have your list.
I'm afraid.
He's spamming a few quotes in a row. Yep.
Come on. I'm not done yet. Hold up. Y'all talking. Stop talking. Stop talking. Stop typing. There we go. Now read them in succession. All right.
No.
Done.
You win.
All right, 11. What are you doing for the rest of the week?
Rest of the week, actually, I'm going to be doing Landmark tonight shortly after this show because I'm going to go set that up. And then I'm going to do that on Friday. That's going to be on Blockheads.net on Twitch. So basically, twitch.tv/blockheadsnet. Instead of streaming on my own stream, we're going to have a couple streamers actually on Blockheadsnet streaming at different times. So that way, wow, Katina, that was funny. 29.
That needs
Wow.
to be fixed.
Oh
Wow.
my God.
Wow.
That's not the one I was looking for. I was looking for the one Knob put in today.
Well, that was a good one. So it's going to be basically streaming a lot on Blockheads.net, like for instance, right after the show. Be doing the build off on Friday, and Monster Build's going to be 2 set, not this coming Saturday, but I believe the next one, if I remember correctly. So it's going to be fun.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
definitely check out 1106's streams or the Blockheads Net stream whenever you see it up. And with that, we will end episode 45.
I was distracted by my cat for a moment. I'm sorry. But just
That's
sorry.
it.
It's the cat's fault.
All right,
11
sure.
is streaming right after this on Blockheads Net. So
Yep.
if you guys are all going to be around, hop over there and watch him.
He's a
Yeah, it'll
funny,
probably
he's
be
a
now I'm
funny
done
guy.
interrupting.
He's a funny guy.
He's a very
Sometimes.
funny guy.
You should have heard him before the show.
You should have seen me before the show.
Oh, come on, dance
You
for
should
us.
have
come
seen
on.
him before the
Come on.
show.
I'm not
Let's
a
see your
puppet.
Ellen impersonation.
My who?
You should have seen. He was dancing.
Your Alan impersonation.
Who's Ellen?
Alan.
Who's
Alan
Alan?
Lapidus.
He was dancing. You know.
Oh, wait, I was impersonating someone?
No, not really. You
Well,
were doing
it
your
was
own dance.
close.
But
Oh, okay. Interesting.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Have a good one, and we will see you on the next episode, episode 46, which will be next Wednesday because Gio isn't around to do the daytime show. We shall see. But this will always happen. Bam!
this?
This will always happen.
Oh
Really?
my.
Have a good one, guys. And
Those
have
balls are a little far apart.
yeah. This will always happen. Have a good one, guys.
Enjoy, guys. Have a good
folks.
one.
Y'all crack me up. Y'all really
You
crack me
crack
up.
you up.
I can't help it. I'm terrible.